I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a wonderful book, a powerful book. It's called Canyons of the Mind. It's written by Russell James Ray. It is a gripping memoir that is filled with adventure. Russell takes us through the uncharted terrains of the canyons in Mexico and the equally intricate landscapes of his own psychological explorations. This book offers a unique blend of physical daring and introspective depth, set against the backdrop of some of the most challenging and most beautiful canyons in the world. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Books to Life Marketing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Russ, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Good to see you this morning.
Wonderful to have you on the show. What drew you to go canyoneering, and what chose you to choose this section of Mexico?
Well, as I elaborate in the book, in 1987, I was a member of what was called the Outdoor Club at Western New Mexico University.
Mhm.
We were seeking someplace to go for a spring break, and a friend suggested Copper Canyon. I immediately agreed, even though I had no idea where she was talking about. But we put it together. We went to Copper Canyon, and I fell in love with the region.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Tell the folks at home a little bit of what canyoneering involves physically.
Well, at this point in time, the sport of canyoneering is becoming super, super popular.
Mm.
And the majority of what people are doing is in what are called narrows. They go into very narrow canyons, slot canyons, like in Utah. There's a lot of rappelling and a lot of swimming that is involved,
Mm.
a lot of rock climbing. With the canyons that we were involved with, they are just very immense canyons, much like the Grand Canyon. So we had to come up with what we felt would get us through the canyon, which was wetsuits, waterproof floating backpacks, and all the necessary other equipment, food.
Yeah, amazing. What an adventure. How old were you when you were doing this? This was back in the 1990s, right?
The first time I went to the canyon was in 1987, and at that time I was 27 years old.
Amazing, amazing, indestructible. But you must have been through some challenging times. Is there a memory of a moment in your descents in the early 1990s or late 80s that really sticks out? Like, wow, I'm lucky I survived that.
I think the time that I got stuck in quicksand and I was all by myself. I had, of course, heard of quicksand. I had, of course, seen it in the movies, but I had never actually experienced it. I got stuck in quicksand and I was able to get myself out, but I counted myself as very lucky.
Yeah, amazing. Do you sometimes get the hankering to go canyoneering again, that you would love it if you could? Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Well, I think, of course, of returning to the canyons. It's been a long, long time since I've been there. Time has definitely passed, and I've gone on to become a school teacher. I've given up fighting fires, I've given up the life of the outdoors, but that does not mean that I do not still have an interest in such things. I'm planning to go back to Copper Canyon in June, but that is more just a retrospective return to have a just a pleasant visit. I'm not planning on doing anything death defying on this trip.
Okay, that's good. We want you to stay safe, that's for sure. Talk to me a little bit about how the physical challenges of canyoneering compare to the mental challenges you discuss in your book.
Well, with the physical aspects of it, as I recall quite clearly, I was very, very physically capable of doing that. I was a firefighter, wilderness EMT. I did wilderness search and rescue. I was very, very much into that way of manifesting in this lifetime. But you always have your mind playing on you. Is everything going to go fine? Am I going to be all right? And you hopefully put the two together, put everything that you know in play, and hopefully you have good luck too.
Yeah, luck is a big component of it, but you have to be mentally prepared for physical challenges such as this, don't you think?
I believe that's probably the even bigger component than the physical. I think is the mental. And you could add on top of that the spiritual. I think you have to totally be holistically into the activity that you're doing. You have to put everything together.
Yeah, I mean, being immersed in that beautiful terrain in this wonderful section of God's green earth, it must have felt really, really connected at times spiritually to the earth, right? When you are just you and it in a game of survival in a way, right?
I think that's probably what I was after. I wanted to feel that connection. I really, really, really love the outdoors. I really love to be separate from urban considerations and to experience wilderness. And I felt that by going to these canyons, which were so remote, that was like ultimately the last frontier available to be able to do such things.
Yeah, exactly. They talk about the space being the final frontier, but here on Earth, there are some frontiers that need to be harnessed and challenged and conquered, and you are conquering some of them as well, which I think is quite amazing. Tell me what you hope readers take away from your story, from your book.
Well, I can tell you this that it took me essentially 20 years to finally get it together to write the book. And I am really glad that I let that passage of time occur because it let me put things in perspective. What I wanted to talk about, of course, was what we accomplished. I had two wonderful partners who were with me on all of the canyons, and what we accomplished was historically very important. But as far as I am concerned, what I wanted people to understand is that I am just a human being who got involved in a very arduous activity, but I had a life that I was living, and I had a lot of things that were occurring in my life that I had to deal with and to put it to perspective, and just hopefully be able to put it all together and accomplish this historical feat.
What was it like for you writing this book, coming up with the memories, reliving those memories, putting it all down on paper?
Well, I was very fortunate in that I kept
Mm.
journals during all of the canyon trips. And when COVID hit, I am a substitute teacher these days. I no longer teach full time.
Mm.
So I was substitute teaching, schools closed. So that meant I was out of work. My two sons went to be in Spain with their mother so she could be with her family during COVID. And so I was at home and isolating, and I decided to write my book. The first thing I did was transcribe my journals. Took me a whole month to do that. Then I just sat down and wrote. I wrote in total for 3 straight months
Amazing.
and got the book completed.
Amazing. COVID and the lockdown and the pandemic were both the worst of times and the best of times because for once in our adult lives, we were able to clear out our minds in many ways, clear out our schedules, not be beholden to the 9 to 5, and actually do something creative, like go through those notes, go through your journals, write that book. And we're very glad you did. The name of the book is Canyons of the Mind. It is written by Russell James Ray. It is a gripping memoir, a memoir of adventure, of action, of self-reflection. Russell takes us through the uncharted terrains of the canyons in Mexico, and we will explore with him while reading this book the intricate landscapes of his own physical and psychological explorations. A wonderful book, a wonderful read. It'll make you want to get out there and get back in touch with nature. Russ, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.